La da 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 da. But no, the heart of the cards is like, you know how people used to explain scientific stuff with magic? It's that. It's just statistics.
Yeah, it's just RNG and statistics, but
you can't explain heartfelt feelings.
Hey, shut up. It's time to start the podcast.
Welcome, guest.
Are we
Shut
live?
Just hit the button.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the Forum Third Podcast, number 145. I am Wadabra, and here with me tonight I have these lovely people, Mr. Chaos Mana.
Hello.
Mr. Zap45.
salutations.
Wubwave.
I believe in the heart of statistics.
Tijen Lee.
Hello.
And Karo27Umi.
皆さんこんばんは。
You actually said it correctly this time.
Yep.
Shut up.
What?
Proud of you. She's...
Oh, damn it. I fucked up my own intro. Not my own intro, but the intro I was planning on making. I was going to say Zap45 and his Kamehameha penis, but I totally forgot.
It's okay. We can save it next
Just
time.
say it
With
now.
hand movements and everything.
Yeah.
No, it has to take you 2 podcasts before you can say
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, 5
There's a
Two
or 10.
podcasts from now, I will just introduce Zach as Kamehameha.
it. Even though he's not on anymore at that point.
Yeah. He'll be
so,
off.
are we going to get into the discussion of what Dragon Ball Z move you would call your genitals? Because either Special Beam Cannon or Crusher Ball.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Okay.
I'm sticking with Kamehameha wave.
Hold on,
Solar flare.
I have to look up some names of Dragon Ball Z moves now because
I mean, I'm a girl
not
and
familiar.
Chi-Chi is perfect, so it's kind of perfect for
Fair
me.
enough.
No, I already know mine. Solar flare.
Solar flare.
List of techniques. Hold on.
Destructo disc.
So,
I'm taking
so you're
Destructo
saying
disc.
you are saying you blind your partner?
Blind everyone.
With its majesty, obviously.
Is that or Tri-Beam?
Tri-beam. So good. No one's gonna get these references.
Some
Talk
people
about
might.
every single person who watches this has watched Dragon Ball Z.
You know what?
I
You're
would
absolutely
hope
right.
so.
I forgot that our demographic is heavily Dragon Ball Z.
Wait, no. What's
based.
the move Chaozu does when he blows himself up?
Is that a move?
I think it's just.
Or is that just
Actually,
blowing himself up?
He just he calls it something.
Yeah, I think he does.
Oh, I guess he
The ultimate
does.
Oh,
sacrifice.
Beauty
I
said
don't
ball. That's a new
Or
one.
when
isn't it?
Vegeta blows himself up. That's
Wait,
the move.
when does
That's-
that happen?
that's
I would go with Evil Spear.
Yeah,
That's
Evil
me.
Spear.
Evil
I think
Spear.
that's a Frieza.
Who
Who
did that
uses
move?
Evil Spear in the
I
anime?
think that would probably be Frieza. It sounds like a Frieza or a cooler move. No, Freezer.
Dude, Chico
Listen,
torture.
the movies are not canon.
Be like,
Don't even
yes,
talk about
take
them.
my
Well,
evil
And
spear in
the,
your
the,
hands
the,
and
se- the
stroke
two
it.
new movies, though, are actually canon because they pretty much have been in Super the whole time, so.
Are they technically? They are technically canon.
They are, because they're the
Okay.
exact same thing of the episodes that are going on currently.
I see. That's right. There is a new series out.
There is. It's called Dragon Ball Super, and it's awesome.
It's good. It's actually good.
It's nostalgic and amazing, and
'Cause I've
hilarious.
actually heard like middling things from Super. It's like people are like, eh.
Well, I mean, think about it. If you watch Dragon Ball Z now, it's not honestly that good,
Whoa,
but it's still awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball was super amazing for me because it was just.
Except it
I
was
think
dragged out as fuck.
the beginning seasons, like everything about that, like made me want to watch. Even though it dragged stuff out, it still made me want to watch the next episode. Especially because I came into seeing a lot of it more recently as a Kai condensed version that cut out a lot of the blah.
Yeah, you didn't have to suffer through all the filler like the rest of us, bastard.
Well, no, I did like a long time ago for like a couple bits of the arc, but the first time I actually watched the whole series was the Kai version.
Yeah,
It's a good idea. Because
Hey,
a lot
I
of
have a
Spirit
question.
Bomb for like 10 episodes is hard.
So Chaos, what would you call your genitals
Yeah.
in Dragon Ball Z terms?
Yamcha. Took too long, Chaos.
Yamcha. That's what you
I
get.
think
Everyone
Yamcha's
said
in
all the moves that I know off the top of my head.
I mean,
Death beam.
is Destructo Disc?
And which one is most appropriate?
Yeah.
Just pick one.
Change place. Change place.
Guess what?
Death
Spirit
Special
Bomb's
Beam
is still
is pretty
available.
good.
You dillweed.
Fusion.
Yeah, Fusion, huh?
When
Fusion!
you touch the desk, you fuse into one.
This is so.
He calls that out every time he has sex with Ray.
So
Or yeah,
cute.
fusion.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, Ray.
Oh, so dumb, but I love it.
Tell her this joke.
Yeah, it's a joke. Don't worry about it. Jokes.
Tell her about anime.
Yeah, tell her about anime.
Where is it? Where can I find the anime?
It's around.
Tell her about how it's the scourge of the world.
It's the scourge.
I believe you can
Did you
find it
know-
at www.anime.com.
Yeah.
Did you know all wars are caused by anime?
What?
It's true.
All the tragedies.
Excuse me?
By giant
Yep.
robots, sure.
You know, he wishes.
That?
Who wishes?
Like, think how bad it would be. Like, yeah, world would be cool if we had giant killer robots, but think about how awful everything would be if we had giant killer robots.
Not
It would
for
be
the killer
just like in the
robots.
video games that feature giant killer robots. Everything
Or
would be
like, what
burning.
if Transformers were real? Like, how
How many
much
people
shit
would
would
fucking
be?
die?
Unless you're piloting a giant killer robot, then it's terrible. But if you're piloting, it's awesome.
I think the best version of like giant robots is when the only reason they're used is basically like sports or competition fights.
Like Zoids.
No, that's
you
lame.
opt in to do something like that.
Like
Unit-based
Zoids.
combat.
Like that's probably one of the best like iterations.
Like, think
Like-
about like a fantasy story that you've read where you would actually want to live in that world. If you really think about it logistically, like, oh man, this would really suck, or it'd be hard to find a job in this
Elder
world, or you
Scrolls.
Yeah,
would
like-
actually survive and build a family.
You don't
or
care
yada,
about a
yada,
job,
yada.
you think about survival at that point.
Hold on, Fusion asks, are we talking Megatron size, Devastator, or Unicron?
All of them.
Unicron's way too
Yeah, that's too much. I think probably Megatron size.
You like walk outside and you're like, "What's that moon doing here?" And you're like, "Oh shit, it's a giant robot."
That's no moon.
Wait, what the heck is Devastator?
Devastator? It's
Devastator?
It's all the Constructicons when they like fusion hot together to make
when they
Devastator.
Voltron together is what you want to more
Yeah, I
accurately
was about to say that. It's like Voltron.
Yeah.
You hook them all up, and there you go.
Autobots.
Yeah, except not Autobots, the Decepticons.
Also,
So
that's what the
Voltron.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers did, too. You just hook them all up together.
Gosh, Zach, not the Autobots.
I'm
Ugh.
sorry that I offended you.
Pink Ranger for life.
I'm sorry my cis scum offended you, Bubs.
You offended my cultural background.
As robot Decepticon.
Doesn't matter. At the end
You
of the day,
identify as a robot in the skies.
I would identify as a robot in disguise. My second
listen,
form
there's
is
a
just a
Tumblr for
handgun.
that.
Sure there is.
Oh.
So wait, so before we started this podcast, we were actually talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And, like, Chaos was actually, like, pissed off about something.
Oh, yeah.
I
doesn't like
actually
the heart
want
of
to
the cards.
explore this a little bit more. Chaos, tell us what it was that you actually are pissed off about when it comes
So-
to Yu-Gi-Oh!
So basically, but I felt this way as a kid as well. But in anime, in Yu-Gi-Oh, they have this like system of friendship bonding or belief or whatever you call it, called Heart of the Cards, in which all of the friends of the main character are constantly repeating, constantly saying, and like trying to use that during fights and use that during all their duels, whether it be a serious one or just one as part of a tournament, what have you. It seems like a very annoying thing to see happen, because either it's not doing anything, because it doesn't matter how much you believe in your deck or believe in your cards, it's not going to change the card that you're going to pick up next. But since, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is also based in a world where magic is a real thing, if it is indeed switching the card that you're about to draw next, then you're cheating. Like,
It's all part of the game.
more
Listen,
so than
it's-
Pegasus was
They
cheating.
just have hope.
He's cheating the entire time. Like, Pegasus thing is the only one that's directed, like, reading your mind and actually using that as a way to cheat. But is Yugi the entire time, like, switching the card on top to get the most appropriate card next for his fight?
No, he's just like basically hoping hardcore, and then
Yeah, how does that... It just, like, annoys me. How does that change anything?
Now, I never
Believe.
actually watched Yu-Gi-Oh! But I had no idea magic was an essential part of the universe there.
It's not a major like thing until much later. It's like basically a world where all the magic stuff got locked away.
Into cards?
Yeah, in different magical objects and
Like his like
cards
pyramid.
and the card games, and that one of the people that had one of these magic objects made the card game to emulate the magical battles that used to take place.
Wow, that's overly complicated. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little like weird to take in, but yeah, it's a world where magic does exist. They don't actually use it much because it's modern times, pretty much at this point. It's not the world of magic, but they reference it and talk about it a lot, and it is clear that a couple ethereal things do happen here and there in the first 3 seasons.
But speaking of worlds you don't want to live in, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a pretty shit world to live in if you're not the main character.
Yeah.
It's like your entire society is based on a card game.
And you don't have like a bad-ass alter ego man living inside you.
Exactly.
No, in a world where, depending on if you're in the bad end of the stick, then you could literally get sent into a world of pain and torment for losing a card game.
It's better than Shingeki no Kyojin, eh? Like, it's better than Attack on Titan.
Yeah. You're not living in fear that Kaiba's gonna, rip your head off.
See, at least you have that.
Yeah. You just have to worry about that shadow realm.
Yeah, it's nice to live in without having the fear of having your head ripped off. That's gotta be nice.
I think that's pretty good.
Although, in a similar vein, another terrible world to live in is Pokemon.
Yes, absolutely.
If you walk outside your house for too long, a dragon. Yeah.
Enslaved.
Oh yeah, in the first episode of Pokemon, Ash, has very bad things happen to him all at once.
Walk into the tall grass, you'll just get attacked by a dragon.
You can't leave your own hometown until you have a defense
It's okay,
partner.
there's just Rattatas and little birds in there, and then there's a fucking, dragon. It's like, okay, well, I'm not prepared for this.
And then there's God Pokemon.
Yeah.
How did they get Ash from Satoshi, is what I want to know.
You mean Red?
Satoshi is his real name.
I don't know.
They needed something simple that the stupid American children in the 1990s could pronounce.
Exactly.
But it's just
one syllable.
Ash.
I never thought about that. I know it was maybe it was to pick apart that they're not trying to represent actual Red, because Red's story follows a more linear path, and his story is allowed to go on many, many tangents in between the towns and the gym.
Because the guy who created Pokemon is named Satoshi, right? Yeah.
Is what?
What's his name?
Satoshi is the guy who created it, and it's also the name of Ash. So why did they pick Ash? It's what?
It's a name that stands out.
Yeah.
It does, at least for males.
Yeah.
What is Ash short for anything?
Ashley.
Ashley?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't.
Ashton?
It just says
Ashton.
Ash. Yeah.
I don't
Unless
know.
they took the A, S, and the H in Satoshi and went, Ash.
Yeah, close
Look,
enough.
man, it was the 90s. Don't worry about it.
That's true.
Still happening, though.
The 90s?
It just won't end.
I know, it won't end.
Has he become a Pokemon master yet?
No.
Has he caught them all?
Nope, he hasn't caught them all either.
He is constantly awkwardly loses the battle. He's the elite. There is no elite four then fight the champion for him. It's always this strange tournament that ends in him awkwardly losing.
Well, what I would like to know
Pikachu
is,
would just retire by now.
how can you catch them all when they keep on adding more fucking Pokemon to the universe?
It's hard.
You can never catch them all. They keep on adding more.
In theory, it's they're not adding more to the universe. It's that just like how in our world, certain animals are only in different places, while some are kind of universal. In one game, you're in America. In another game, you're in France. In another game, you're in Australia. You're in different parts of the world, so those Pokemon have already existed.
The Pokemon
but
Netherworld.
then you
The
get to see
Underdark.
other ones.
You know?
Yeah.
Where all the dark Pokemon are.
Dark?
So why does he have to catch them all? My theory is that once the series is over, Professor Oak's just gonna be like, "You caught them all?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, Okay, good. The world's actually ending.
Well, I just realized he actually catches like he catches like the 3 starters of a region and maybe like a couple others, and that's it. Like they even poked at it in the earlier seasons where Gary had like 50 of them, and he was like, "Ash, you've only caught this one Krabby." Like he barely catches any of them.
Stop.
Completely contrary to the actual show's like.
I think
tagline.
it's less about catching them all now and more about being the best at battling, because that's where the show's sort of focused. Because Pokemon battles
I think
are
the show's tagline was actually supposed to apply to the people watching the show, because you're supposed to be buying the cards,
true.
so you're supposed to catch them all by buying them
just
all.
a
huge
marketing
marketing
tool.
scam for
True,
video
true.
games and whatever bullshit. So who cares?
Oh, Nintendo.
All the cards, yeah.
Nintendo's a saucy little minx that way.
Hey,
God,
they were
yeah.
just catching on to a trend that every other company was
Yeah,
doing.
exactly.
You gotta
Except that they
collect all
made
the action
movies
figures.
and
You
shit
gotta
out
collect
of
all
it.
the toys or the cards or the candy balls or the pogs or bullshit like that. It's always been a marketing
Yeah,
tactic.
exactly. It's capitalism in general.
Remember Beyblades?
Beyblades.
No.
The name
I
sounds
went-
familiar, but I don't remember it
If
specifically.
I was in front of you, I'd put my finger over your mouth and go shh.
Okay, imagine Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, but instead of Pokemon and magical cards, the
Tops.
tops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spinning pods.
Not even cool tops. Like,
Just seriously splitting.
I mean, I think they maybe have weird. Yeah, I think they maybe have like magic powers in the show because. Meh.
In that similar vein, I remember the epic commercials, and I say it because that's what seems like they were trying to go for. That showed the Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual discs, which in the actual show produce a hologram in front of the person, so when they play a card, the actual monster shows up in front of them. But since
reality.
the actual dual disc doesn't do anything except has a counter on it that you can adjust to keep track of your score.
Only makes you look like a.
It's just an awkward piece of machinery that
It's
does
a piece
nothing.
of plastic that's it's actually just a calculator and
So
a card
beautiful.
holder.
Yeah, it's just a life points calculator.
Can I do a shout out to the Twitch chat real quick?
No.
Hey Ray, Fusion, stop talking about fucking murderer. Pay attention to us.
Yeah,
What
Pay
are they
attention to
talking
us.
about?
We're
Who's
talking
killing
about very
people?
interesting stuff here.
yeah, what they said.
I'm talking
They're
about that
having a
show.
little conversation.
Notice me, senpai.
Making a murder or whatever. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not even gonna pay
Oh.
attention to the chat because I'm worried about
Me neither.
spoilers.
Hey, is it
If
just
anybody
me?
watches this, they're looking for people to do a TFT Talks Making a Murderer. So if you're interested, contact Ray or Mr. Fusion.
Yep.
I would
Good
have
job.
to watch it first.
They're
Yeah.
okay people.
Now I have a question for you all, except for you, Caro. Is it just me,
Why
or
can't you answer?
does her avatar look like that one chick from the Mass Effect series?
Mass Flakes.
Mass Flicks? The Mass Effect series. You know, the assassin
Oh.
chick with the...
Her Skype avatar?
Oh,
Yeah.
the Nandake, what's her name?
The Skype avatar is just the blue and white head for me.
I have like
Yeah.
an actual
Yeah, but-
picture.
Hoodie.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's so weird.
I
That's
don't know
just
why,
the-
but it reminds
oh.
me of that chick from Mass Effect.
What's her
Which one?
face?
The thief.
Kasumi? No,
The thi-
Kasumi.
Kasumi, yeah, the thief.
Yeah.
Kasumika.
Oh, you know what? I never did the DLC for her.
That was a really
Ah.
fun one.
It was.
You know what? I still
That-
haven't beaten Mass Effect 3 yet. I've tried twice, and I just stopped playing at some point.
Well, record your reaction
Say it again?
to the ending. Do the recording to your action.
Yeah. Record it.
Record my
Record the-
disappointment?
record
My alleged
record your
disappointment?
reaction, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, if you download like the like extend the fixed ending,
It's
it
marginally
everything helps
better.
a lot.
Functionally better.
Well, it's just
Don't-
like
yeah,
Shepard
I
leaves a
was
message.
not. I
Watch the
was
original.
not like. I was actually, slightly sad. Like, yeah, it was a sad ending, but it was just the current status. It wasn't. It to me. I never was like, oh, that was
Everything
a
is
terrible
about a love
ending.
story.
Yeah,
Or
when I
whatever
beat the
was
game, I did it without any DLC, and I understood why so many of the fans were in such a huge rage fit about it. I'm like, holy shit, this is the most terrible ending they could have possibly thrown at me. And then I downloaded it, all the DLC, and then kind of replayed my checkpoint and with the fixed ending, and I'm like, this is a little bit better, but it's still pretty shitty.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played.
Your heart was still
It
torn
made
and
it made the
broken.
biggest difference for me because I was able to not only have all the DLC for that, but the DLC for the other two games, and to continue the character all the way from the beginning, like, just made it so that much
played
different.
1 and 2.
But did you
and
notice
stopped.
that the ending to the third game had absolutely what was not actually the ending that was intended for the series? Like the whole reason they titled it Mass Effect, and like in the second game they had the whole subplot with the dying star. I think that was in the second game. Yeah, where they you had to investigate that, and that was due to what was happening with Mass Effect in the universe, with the using the Mass Effect gates and fields and everything was actually like causing certain sections of the universe to like age more rapidly or something like that. Like they were going to explore that, and then like they completely abandoned it, and then we got the shitty ending that we got. I'm like, I wanted to see the ending they intended. But
they done gone goofed. Like, for real, they messed up everything that they created, I think, personally.
Fucked it up good.
Yeah,
I hope they learn their lesson, and when they make this new trilogy, they don't fuck the ending
I bet
up
you
like
they
did the
didn't,
second.
because it's EA, and it's, it's just... They're just terrible.
Yeah, you'd think, EA would, like, be like, hey, BioWare, we know you crank money out like no one else can for us. Like, we're just gonna let you do your thing because you make money. But no.
The opposite side of that is that, like, if artists are allowed to have all the free time they're given, then they'll never get anything done. Got it.
We're not talking about free time.
Equally as bad.
We're talking about being forced to change ideas. It was EA that was like, oh, we think too many of the fans have figured out how the ending is actually going to happen, so you need to change it. Like, no.
Is that how that works?
You don't do
I thought
that.
it was just time constraints. Yeah. That's not how it normally
I thought it got leaked online, and that's why they changed it.
Yeah, that's what happened. It didn't get leaked. It was there was this big, fan base, because, Mass Effect had a huge fan base, a lot of theorists, and, yeah, there was a particularly large group that had figured out what the ending was generally going to be. And so he was like, yeah, well, the ending's spoiled. You're going to have to make a new one now.
And then they picked that.
That's dumb.
It's even
I'd
extra
rather
because...
have it spoiled and just ignore the spoilers, because they did that very well for the other games that were coming out.
Well, even better, have it spoiled and then at the end be like, do you want to let the Reapers destroy your race so that the future can live on, or just keep going and end up fucking yourselves in a few hundred years?
Yeah.
Now, put that choice in, not be like, oh, they figured it out. Robots.
In disguise.
True enough.
Transformers.
Yeah.
Robots in disguise.
I hope the new Mass Effect Andromeda.
I am excited.
I'm hopeful but scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so attached to Commander Shepard, like, getting introduced to a whole new galaxy with a whole new character. I'm like, I'm afraid. Stranger danger!
Maybe even new species of aliens?
I know,
No,
it's like,
they like excuse it as, like, Commander Shepard was, separate, like, born on a space station and was separated from a twin at birth, so he happens to look exactly like Shepard.
They did the whole fucking twins storyline in one
I
of the
know,
DLCs,
I
and
know.
it was awful.
I thought it was alright. It was kind of funny when he's like, when the evil clone Shepard's like, bye, and he just leaves, and it's like, is that what that feels like?
I did like that part, yeah.
It like looked back at the, I guess, fourth wall did it a little bit.
Yeah.
The meta.
But I'm wondering what the big villain is going to be in Andromeda, because is it going to be the Reapers, and they're like, oh shit, they're here too. Or
More
is it going to be
scary
something
aliens.
else? Yeah.
A bigger, scarier alien.
Oh no, it's gonna be like, oh, the Reapers, this problem, and then as you investigate it, actually, like, it's like a bigger, like, something destroys the Reaper before you even get to it, and it's like, uh-oh. It's like the Reapers, like, the whole reason the Reapers were doing this was in part to help prevent these things from coming
sort
back.
Like a Emperor Palpatine situation.
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for something that's a little bit more, something a little more intimate, because it seems like every single like game franchise or movie franchise tries to, like, we need to go bigger, we need to go bigger, we need to go bigger, until finally, like, dudes, we no longer care about what's going on because the scope you're going for is just so inconceivable. Like, can we dial it back down and make it to where it's a little bit more
focus on the
interesting?
story.
Yeah, like the first Mass Effect, it had some very specific characters, some very specific villains. And, like, the villain, like, come at the very end of it, you're like, he's actually a very sympathetic character. You can kind of see where his life kind of branched off, and he kind of became the zealot.
I was sad that he had, even when I was able to talk him down,
He still
he just
did
still.
the thing that he did. Yeah.
Sociopathic ways.
It's like
I liked the entire. If it wasn't for the terribly slow gameplay, like that's the only
I hated the
issue
first
I have with the
Mass
series
Effect,
is that
for
the
real.
first game's gameplay, there was a lot of awkward running around and pointless. Like
I really liked that. I felt like I was immersed in a way.
Oh,
No.
it was so slow. Though.
There's a certain point where it got like too much. Like they
I
streamlined
guess.
it a lot better in the second and third games.
I didn't care halfway through. Like when I was like, they were like making me run around in the first game. I was like, I don't care anymore. I just want to do stuff, like real stuff.
Yeah, it was so great. Like I loved being able to explore the planets, but there wasn't a lot to a lot of them.
yeah, that was
Like
the problem I
if-
had. I would like to see something like the streamlined version of the game that they had in the second and third games, but with the more simplified and personal narrative of the first game. Because with the second and third games, like they're clearly setting it up for like a whole, universe-ending type conflict. And you're like, okay, this is kind of big and bad, but at the same time, it's hard to stay like personally involved in the struggle when it's on such a grandiose scale.
I forget. Have they said that you are gonna still be a human?
No.
Or
Yeah,
Did they say
still-
human?
Okay.
No, they showed the trailer.
Oh.
I think they did, and they showed the trailer. Like you play as that N7 soldier. It's not Shepard. It's someone
Yeah.
else.
Oh well, an N7 soldier could still be some of the alien races.
Are they
At least,
pulling like a
like-
Halo thing?
I
where they
don't
just
know.
Make you a random.
I
soldier?
would have that would have been cool.
Hey, I'll be Nathan
It makes
Fillion in
sense
any
plot
game.
wise to still keep him the human, but that would make maybe like you can play once you play through it once, you can play through it a second time as a different
Yeah, I
race.
mean,
I tell you what,
Yeah.
I'm afraid of most is finding the new Garrus character, because like I fucking love Garrus.
Oh,
and-
Why can't we have old Garrus?
Finding the equivalent for me would be finding the equivalent of Tally.
Tally, that's
like-
Normandy.
I liked a lot of the characters.
Now, does this take place in the future, or like very far away, or something, or
They
It
said
takes
it
place
takes
in the
place-
future.
It's just a new galaxy, is what they say, isn't it?
just
Yeah, they
far,
just
far
said
away?
the new
Like,
galaxy, not necessarily if it's in the future. Or
I saw
So
this.
they haven't said the timeline. They just say it's not. But like this
well, there
story is
this, like,
closed.
in space. It's all relative.
Yeah,
You
well,
don't
and
really
if
have a
if it's
timeline.
N7, if you play as an N7 character, then it takes place in the future, because that's when N7 takes place. Exists in the last game. So different galaxy, but if
Well,
it's still N7,
well,
Yeah,
Well,
it still has to be a kind of
Why
close
can't it be an N8?
to where the, especially if you have the human race as a character, it has to be after a lot of the events happen. I would assume.
Or parallel, like at some point during
Yeah.
the Mass Effect story, this person fucked off to another galaxy.
Yeah, like he was sent through the relay, and then he was like, I guess we're not going to that relay. Bye.
Well, because
It's basically like Farscape.
because of the decisions that you can technically make in the last game, they can't really be a complete sequel, right? Like right at the end, it has to
I
be
think
either
that's
some sort of alternate or parallel
I think that's why they're
next to it.
setting it in the Andromeda galaxy or whatever it's called,
oh,
so that way they don't have
Yeah,
to
that
worry about the previous games
That
and the
reminds
players'
me-
choice.
did anybody else
glad.
pick up on that ending where I don't remember if it was in DLC in one of the DLCs or what, where you go on that mission and you pick up the log and you learn that there was this particular system where the local Mass Effect relay exploded and it wiped out the entire solar system.
Oh, that was the Arrival DLC.
Yeah. that
Yeah,
was-
so according to it's another that thing that points to how badly they fucked up the ending to Mass Effect 3. According to the in-game lore of their own DLC, when all the Mass Effect relays before they fixed the ending exploded, every single one of the solar systems that had a Mass Effect relay in it, all life would have been wiped out instantly when those things exploded. Like
Yeah.
gone.
yeah, no
Now,
one
take-
would know that.
who built the Mass Effect relays?
The
I
Reapers.
forget.
Forerunners. I mean,
The Reapers bought. The Reapers made those,
Yeah.
so that's why there was the Omega relay. I was gonna say, who the fuck built that one and put it in the fucking Reaper territory?
That'd be great if they just made it like, oh, what's on the other side of this? And just like peek their head through and they're like, Oh no!
it's like digging a tunnel. It's like you find somebody
Pass.
else.
Yeah.
Like, whoopsie, we didn't mean to go here, but now that we're here, we're dead.
I guess we have to hang out with the mole people
Yeah,
now.
GG.
I would love if there's a villain in Andromeda where it's like you get to the end, you're like, "Are you working for the Reapers?" And he's like, "What are those?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I'm just a bad guy." Like,
I can be a villain independent of the greatest villains known in the universe. Like, I'd hope
Or
to be
they
part
do
of
a
that.
thing where the Reapers, like their return hasn't started yet, like for the other universe, and then your character is unknowingly putting the Reaper comeback into motion. And
What
then
if you're a Reaper?
And
the
then
end
no
of
one
the
believes
game
you about the Reapers
shows
over
the
and over
Reapers
again?
going to the other universe.
The
It'd make
woman who
more
cried
sense.
Reaper.
But the
yeah, it'd make
Reapers,
more
they're
sense
coming.
that they wouldn't believe you about the Reapers in another galaxy because they've never seen them.
Yeah.
But they've seen humans.
Everyone treats you as like this crazy prophet guy.
They treat you as a Reaper. They're like, "Humans are coming," and it's like, "No, I'm just here. Hi, guys."
Now that's an interesting point. Whoever said, but there's humans there. What if this next game takes place way farther in the future, where humanity has escaped from the Milky Way galaxy and has managed to get to the next one?
But it looks a lot like modern Mass Effect stuff.
Well, that's the thing. If the humans left, if we're talking about like human like storyline, like their history, and if they've never been to Andromeda, it has to be like billions of years in the future of the humans because
well,
of
not
how long
necessarily.
time would take to get there.
No. At this point, they have all the. Oh, wait, I guess they don't have the relays.
Well, no.
Do they explode
well,
at the
here's
end of the
thing.
game? Can't
Yeah.
remember.
Spoilers.
And every option they blow up. But
Okay.
well, here's the thing. And part of the story of like why the Turians started fighting the humans to begin with was because humans like got to the galaxy and like, look at all these Mass Effect relays, open them all. And so
So don't do that.
could be just like during that time humans went through some unknown relay, ended up in the Andromeda galaxy, whatever. They're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a lame
It
story.
probably. I'd be fine with it being a tangent story as long as this tangent story is still good. Like it doesn't have to be like continue like mentioning, referencing, maybe subtle references in the lore and whatnot.
have to
like
subtle
the lore
reference
books
something.
that they give you. But you don't need to be like, this is Shepard's whatever. Like you don't need to even mention him.
So if you're traveling by a Mass Effect relay, are you just getting slingshot at the speed of light to different
Yeah.
points? Or are you going through, like, wormholes?
I think it's just moving really fast.
So it would, like, they're traveling around the galaxy. It must be a long time between, like, missions and shit like that. You're just like, alright, I guess we're gonna be on the ship for a year.
Probably like
No,
an
driving
hour.
to the
No,
other
it
point of the
seems like
galaxy.
that's what the Mass Effect relays help do. It makes it so that space travel is actually something that you can.
Like, if they wrote, like,
Consider-
wormholes into it. Like,
Yeah,
you know, like, oh, we're going
I
through
don't think
folds
you actually
in the
travel
galaxy.
at the speed of light through a Mass Effect relay. I think you travel faster than the speed of light. That's how you can get from star system to star system
So that you
incredibly
always have
fast.
time for shore leave.
They are essentially like little wormhole generators, and then you're suddenly at the other relay.
And you can go to every club every time.
Yeah, every club in the
And
galaxy.
listen to the music. Boom, chicka, boom. chicka.
That would be kind of cool.
Have you
And they
noticed that all
dance
the music
badly.
sounds very much the same no matter which planet you go to? It's all like
Techno's
synth
universal.
techno.
Yep. Because it's the future.
Well, it's
Future,
also
everyone.
it's the future, and where the same thing kind of works with Star Wars in like the more established planets and such. It would be kind of like us, where a lot of our stuff can share on the internet. So popular music in one place might be popular in a couple other places too.
I think Star Wars is actually, like, we think of it like this grand thing with, like, so many planets, but I actually think it's, like, on a universal scale, it's, like, really tiny. Like, there are only, like, ever, like, maybe, like, 10 main planets.
I feel like that's different.
in Star Wars, like, they probably don't actually travel that far. It's probably, like, just, like, a little sliver of a couple solar systems.
The actual like solar system is actually quite large to the point where there are a lot of planets missing.
Is it
like
just
chunks.
one solar system?
Yeah,
that
it's
they're traveling
one big solar system.
No, it's a
I think you're trying to
galaxy.
say galaxy.
Yeah, it's a
You know what I
galaxy,
mean.
not a solar
Yeah,
system.
Galaxy is like a
It's-
spectrum of solar systems, right? That's how that works.
It's probably just like a sliver of the galaxy, because in like one of the books, it was they're talking about like going to the edge of like the outer rim of the galaxy. It's like that was the first time they did that, so it's probably like not the entire galaxy, just maybe like
I saw a picture
Also,
of
I
it
forgot,
once
at the end of
somewhere.
Empire, they're looking at a galaxy. They're outside of a galaxy, like looking
like-
at it.
I don't think the physics of that work.
Yeah.
No,
Science, who needs it?
forget about it. That's the thing. Like, you try to like dissect any of this, you're just like, none of this ever would make sense. Light speed is just not feasible
Right
like,
now.
You travel at light speed to one point, and then and like, oh,
Never say
200
never.
years passed. Everyone I ever loved is dead.
One of my favorite iterations was Xenosaga's network, because it wasn't this magical. It wasn't like super technology that allowed you to go to light speed or jump drives or anything like that. It was like things that it was like an ethereal network that was just there, and you could use it if you had the ability to. But it wasn't like making you go faster. It was just a kind of sub wormhole, like science and magic kind of combining.
I just looked at that map.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, there's actually a map for
That's
it.
crazy.
Oh,
Posted
really?
in the
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
just,
the map
I
of
just
Mass
linked a
Effect or
picture
Star
of the
Wars?
map for Star Wars.
Star Wars map
Ah,
in the Twitch chat.
I like
at least
the-
one person would have figured it out by now, you know.
yeah.
You'd think.
After
No,
all
I
these
like
years.
if there were like space currents that they traveled on, and that's how they got to places much faster. Like, that's why I think like wormholes and stuff like that should just be the easiest way to explain away anything.
That's
It's
how
like,
Cowboy Bebop
like with
works,
string
right?
theory, you just literally
science
get
is
through.
the easiest way to explain anything, because
That's
you don't
science.
have to explain it.
Yeah, because really
Just
the only
say,
thing that's
um,
keeping wormholes from being able to exist right now, like keeps us from opening one up, is just having a
don't have the
quantifiable
power.
percentage of what they call exotic matter. So that's like perfect for a sci-fi MacGuffin. Is like, oh yeah, this thing creates exotic matter and it holds the wormhole open for us, and we can go anywhere we want. Problem
Dark
solved.
matter.
Element X or Element Zero. From
Yeah, or like in
Chemical
XCOM,
X.
they have
Matter
Delirium
forever.
115. Does it all. Bam.
Speaking about
Done.
periodical tables, did you hear that they've unlocked a new layer of elements? Like they've found them out?
No, they were theoretical that they saved spots
Yeah.
for, and then they just confirmed
Yeah.
them. So
Oh.
now, but they're still man-made
Yeah.
elements. So they're just now like, okay, these are
They've
actually.
finally given a name to the missing numbers of the periodic
Exactly.
table.
Yep.
I don't think
So
they found
think
those
maybe
yet.
within the next 10 years there could be a full periodic table for students.
Glad I'm not in high school anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm never gonna look at that again. Although, speaking of faster than light travel, my favorite one is the Warhammer version, where you just like open a portal to hell and then just like sail through it for a bit and then come out the other end. Really fucking.
Or X-Men, they do kind of like the same thing, where you can just
I
like.
think I like the
with
Cowboy
curtains.
Bebop
Well, think
version
about,
the
like,
best, though, where it's just like a thing that makes you go faster.
Well, like that's actually like it's like a current, but they only travel as far as like Jupiter.
Yeah, it
right?
stays within
so it's
our
like, it's like
solar
Earth to
system,
Jupiter.
which is real, that's another reason.
So they're like it's relatively a
Yeah,
short
still.
distance. I mean, space.
Well, it cuts like a 3-year or 4-year journey down to like a week or two. So it's
Yeah.
awesome.
and they're making stops, and there's a bunch of it's a highway,
Yeah,
basically.
that's why I kind of like it, is because Cowboy Bebop kind of brings like this reality to it. That humans are still within the solar system that they started out in, and space travel still very
Like it only
Space
takes
and
place like 70 years from now.
yeah, which is kind
so
of
it's
weird.
really not.
Oh my
that
god, that's right. Yeah, it came
Yeah.
out a long time ago. Now I'm intrigued.
Crazy.
Actually, we just started rewatching that, so I'm showing Holly it for the first time. She
Man,
loves
and
it.
Cowboy Bebop
I
is
knew she
good,
would.
dude. Like,
Oh, it's so amazing.
Zach, we'll get it for anime night one time. I
okay,
promise.
I don't know why.
What are you guys watching now
Why
for
do I have
anime
to
night?
fight for Cowboy Bebop?
What we're currently
Shouldn't
watching
have.
is Girls in Panzer, which is
You shouldn't have to
It's
fight for
entertaining.
Cowboy.
What is it? Say it again.
Girls und Panzer.
Girls und Panzer.
Yes,
Okay.
Oh, did you guys
females
ever?
and tanks.
Girls
What?
with guns.
Oh,
Girls and Panda.
No, in
That's
a
what I heard.
Panzer, which is a tank.
Panzer
Panzer's
guns?
tank.
Girls on
As in
Panda?
tanks? Or
Yes,
bazookas.
tanks.
Girls
okay.
on tanks.
Tanks.
Jesus.
No,
Oh, girls
girls
on
and
tanks.
Panzervor means Panzervor.
Oh, Korika. Okay. Oh, okay.
I'm confused.
Don't worry about it.
I heard Panda, so that's why I got confused.
Girls on pandas.
Yeah. That's why I got really confused.
That would be
I was
adorable.
like, that's a thing?
Yeah,
Make
except
it a
for the
thing.
chlamydia.
Or weird.
No, those are
No,
koalas.
those are koalas.
Yeah.
Oh,
dirty koalas.
Listen,
yeah,
the
that's right.
pandas, they're
You did
dirty
say
animals
panda.
too. They get around. Who knows what they
koalas
picked
are
up?
disgusting.
They don't get around. They don't have sex. That's why they're going
Them
extinct.
and them
There's like 70 of them.
like
70?
They can't be
No,
rushed
there's-
into their
There's a couple
feelings.
hundred, right?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
There's a few.
Look,
One or two.
man.
I'm like, what I don't understand is why we're trying so hard to save the pandas when they so desperately want to just go out of existence.
Because they're
Because
adorable.
it's our obligation
As creatures,
to save as many species. Did you guys hear about the bug that they just found? So it's this giant like walking stick bug. You know what those look like?
Yeah.
So it's about like on average they're like 6 inches long, so as big as like a big hand.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were on so it's on an island near Australia, like south of Australia, near
Of
New
course,
Zealand,
in
I think.
Australia.
So it was only on this one place in the world, and so like back in like 1920, all the bugs just like disappeared because like somebody brought rats to the island, and then rats overpopulated and start eating these bugs. So there's this even smaller island south of that. I don't know the name, so I'll just say Big Island and Small Island. So it's a very small island, which is basically like an old volcano where just the peak is popping out. And there were two guys that just randomly decided to climb this thing, and this is back in 2001. So they climb it, they reach the peak, and on the top of this small rock is a tiny bush, and underneath that bush is this bug, this giant fucking bug. And they're like, "Oh wow! Every report ever said this bug was completely extinct, and we found it, and now we have to save it." So like they like went through this like long journey of like trying to like get the rights to bring these animals home and like preserve them and repopulate them, and like they kept dying and they were like running out of specimens and stuff like that, and they finally got it to work. And it was they showed a video of this bug hatching, and again it's really big, and the eggs like maybe as big as my thumb.
Oh dear God!
So the hatching is this long green slimy thing climbing out of this fucking egg, and you have no idea how there was ever that much bug inside of that egg. It's awesome and gross. I'll send you guys the video.
Yes, please
But
do.
I mean that's humans trying to save a species that was basically extinct. And it's hard to do and it costs a lot of money, but it's our obligation.
Is it though?
I have.
Yes.
But the
because
dodo.
there are people want to do that.
I have the reverse of that story where humans tried to kill a bunch of emu in Australia. It was called the Big Giant Emu War.
Yes.
This is real, by the way. They tried to.
Emus fought back.
Yeah, after World War I, a bunch of soldiers came home and wanted to farm the lands, but they're like, "Oh, there's a fucking bunch of emus here, so we'll just declare a war on emus." And it ended.
Did
with
they give
the
it a
emus
fair fight?
winning.
Did they give them guns and helmets?
Yeah, they didn't get the emus guns and helmets. They didn't need them because the emus won.
Wait, how did they win?
They just kept reproducing, and they're like, "Oh, we can't
So
kill
the
them all. They
humans went
win."
extinct.
I mean, now
So that's
yeah,
what
you
nowadays.
No, I'd prefer the time where they're trying to hunt them and they just keep on getting overrun.
And by the end of it, you just see like an emu in the middle of what's the capital of
It is
Sydney,
It's called
or,
Emu
no,
War.
Perth or something.
It's not
Perth
Sydney,
or
but
something.
whatever the capital of Australia is, and they're just like signing a treaty.
Who gives a shit
like
about
that.
the convicts anyway? I mean,
Okay, do you want the great white rhino to go extinct because humans wanted to just poach
okay,
them
there's a difference
constantly?
between poaching is wrong, obviously, because
But that's the thing. We caused those bugs to die out. We're trying to kill the emus, we're killing the elephants and the rhinos. It's our obligation
No,
to save these things.
I mean,
Canberra, by the way, is the capital.
I think my thing is like I feel like it's just as wrong to put a depressed ass panda into. It's not necessarily preservation. It's for
it's
entertainment.
not depressed.
It
It's a panda.
needs
It's
drugs to be happy, and then it can reproduce.
Give that panda some
fine.
antidepressants.
Sad panda.
It's a sad panda.
Poor panda.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I don't know. I'm just very nihilist when it comes to that kind of shit. I don't give a rat's ass whether we introduce
Well,
something.
think about this, Zach.
I wouldn't care about any bug or any bird, but it's a panda.
I'll care about
and
the
it's adorable,
fish.
and it
Like
should
we
be
shouldn't
saved.
overfish because that's. I care about things that.
Nah, kill the whales and the dolphin. Fuck you, whale. Fuck you, dolphin.
What do they
I
do
care,
for us?
They keep a balance in sea and food, like 40% of our food. Like I care about
What they do,
pollinating.
they try to sexually assault us whenever we go into the water
Did
with
you know
dolphins. Like, that's
dolphins-
not okay. Put them all in dolphins.
Dolphins.
I think dolphins are going to be the first species that we cross-pollinate.
Dolphins during their adolescence will drag humans into a cave where they rape them.
They
Did
just
you
they're
know
playing.
that? No, they're not playing.
They're playing.
With,
It's just a
it's just
prank,
a prank
bro.
with their penis in your butt. That's what they're playing with. Dolphins are fucked up.
To be fair, it's any hole.
Yeah, probably.
But no, think about
Okay,
this.
does anybody else actually know how dolphins would
No,
do this?
it's serious.
I
They
feel
drag
like that's
you.
just probably not
drag
true.
you. They
Not
weaken
all,
you.
not all dolphins. Just like certain dolphins
just-
in a certain area. They're just like
They're
humans.
like
they play
humans.
rough with one another, and then they think you're one of them. and you wanna
Most
play, and they play
most
rough with
male
you.
dolphins in their adolescence will like weaken the females like via attack.
Yeah, they just beat the shit.
They
out.
are pretty aggressive. I've swam with dolphins
Dolphins
before,
are
and
dicks.
some of them are pretty
Yeah, I don't give.
pretty nasty.
Yeah.
Do you
I
wanna
hear
talk about
I hear
it, Caleb, or
Flipper
do
was a
you wanna-
huge prima donna on set.
I'm sad.
Huge.
Okay.
Wanted all like red Skittlefish, like that's it.
Which is
Although
why
think
the
about this,
Japanese
Zach.
eat them. They don't
Yeah.
care.
Who cares
Yeah.
about mercury poisoning? Continue.
That's tuna.
No,
As
it's
long
all.
as you cut it the right way.
Who
Safe.
fucking eats?
Dude, tuna is so good.
You're right, but who eats the fucking tuna? Who eats all the fish that have mercury in them? The dolphins. They have what people, funny enough, don't understand is
Don't
that
eat tuna.
the dolphins are quick.
Tuna are fucking huge. They're as big as dolphins. What are you
The
talking
dolphins?
about?
What?
Depends on tunas are pretty
You're
big.
right.
Tunas are
I'm telling
huge.
you.
And there's a middle
Have
section.
you ever seen a
and,
tuna?
like, depending on where you cut, they're worth
It's like
more.
a sea cow
yeah.
almost.
Dude,
I get
yeah.
it.
Have you ever watched Wicked Tuna?
Wicked tuna.
No.
It's a great show. I'm
I
obsessed with
think
it.
you're obsessed with many things and has me concerned sometimes, but that's a talk for later.
So
day.
now that
Like
we know
what?
dolphins are just riddled with mercury, it makes the molestations of humans even more dangerous.
Exactly.
It'll be
That's
like that.
again the cross pollinating. There's going to be like mutations with mercury in it, and then there's going to be a dolphin
No.
version.
But then you have to think,
It's gonna
who are,
be like-
who are these humans that are like, I'm going to go swim with the dolphins? And like, that may not be a good idea. It's like, I'm going to go swim with a rapist.
Let me
Just don't.
They're harmless.
This is how
you just gotta
mermaids
stand
happen.
your ground a little
I'll
bit.
swim with like an older male dolphin or a female dolphin.
Or like the fact that it's staying alive for one,
Yeah.
like the
They're-
whole
no.
underwater, like even with gear on, that gear can still be compromised quite
Yeah.
easily.
I feel like the only things I really care about is overfishing and bees dying off because we need the two things to keep balance and keep my life
Oh,
the way I
yeah.
want to keep it.
Well, do you guys know what the name is for this thing that that the human race has started? It's a new epoch. Do you know what what it's
I
called?
knew
What you're on about?
It's the Anthropocene. I'm drunk. I'm having trouble saying this. I've had a whole bottle of wine. Anthropocene, something like that. It is the next big extinction event that we're all part of. You, me, and all other humans. We're contributing to this.
Okay, cool. Continue.
How?
No.
Yeah, so
But-
it's not technically in effect yet. They're going to be voting on it later this year, I think. But it's a proposed
collective
epoch.
vote. Do we want to go extinct? Anyone? Show of
Yeah.
hands.
So it's the proposed epoch that begins when human activity started to have a big impact on the Earth's ecosystems, and they're really kind of debating when that started. They're like, was it the beginning of the like Industrial Revolution, the beginning of the 20th century? Like, it's not so much like if it's gonna happen, if we're gonna create this epoch, because it's already got a name. It's when did it begin, and that's really what we're trying to decide now. Because we're fucking all sorts of shit up. So we get our very own new epoch where
The fuck's an
we
epoch?
kill everything on this planet.
Let's
Go us.
It's a period of time.
Oh,
it's like
cool.
like you have
Yeah.
like a.
The
Yeah.
Middle
bigger than a
Ages, the
millennium.
Dark Ages.
No. It's like the pre-boreal, the boreal, Atlantic, subboreal, subatlantic.
It's
So
like
if we move to Mars, would that fix it?
yeah.
For me, it's rather obscure, but my interpretations of Epic started out with this game called Empire Earth, where your civilization starts in the prehistoric age and you slowly upgrade to the space age.
Yeah. Oh, listen to this. This does not clear anything up at all. So it says an epoch is a subdivision of the geologic time scale that is longer than an age and shorter than a
Oh,
period.
good.
Okay.
Shorter than my period? Okay.
Hey ho.
it's like bigger than a minute and like less than a millennium.
It's
or
like
something.
bigger than a minute.
So
and
it's a-
smaller.
It's
than
between a minute
few
and a hot
100%,
minute.
Yeah.
So a way
It's
to
that
summarize
nether
it is
space.
when you're looking at sedimentary rock, it's like the rock layers that are deposited during each epoch are called a series. So like we're creating our very own series of rock layer that's kind of like riddled with like plastic pieces and all this other stuff. So when all the stuff that we make turns into sedimentary rock, like it will create its own unique layer in the rock.
That is awesome.
That's not awesome.
It's horrifying.
I mean, it
That's
is
a
awesome.
reaction.
But
Sorry, I'm
creepy.
You don't recycle. Do you?
nope.
You son of a bitch.
Here's what's gonna happen.
They're destroying our
I
planet.
know global warming
what's
is
gonna
real,
happen.
and we're definitely a huge part of causing it. But fuck it, I want beach
Last
property.
year was the hottest on record by like
I
far,
want beach
like a
property.
long while.
Well, Zach, you're gonna have beach property in like 20 years when the ocean rises.
You live
That's
in the
my
desert.
point. I want it. It's already. It's.
Basically.
I need the ocean to come to me now. Like it's already a beach. I just need the ocean.
And destroy
I
everyone
don't want
else.
to move to the ocean. I want the ocean to come to me.
Exactly.
Throw plastic bottles all over the place.
Exactly.
It's like no matter how many
We'll
people have to die because
We'll
of
just
this.
create a big. We'll just create a big shell or mother base to live on.
Armageddon.
In a few thousand years, when aliens come to Earth, they're going to look at the Vox and be like, this is where, like, mammals began. This is where humans began. And then they get to the one place, like, filled with shit, and they're like, this is where they fucked
Yeah.
up.
And this is where humans.
Hey, well, do you think the world, like, say the ocean levels keep rising and rising, like, do you think the cities will eventually become like the
Its own
the
layer?
Star Wars water planet, or we have
So the
to
Jetsons.
make an entire
Does
like
anybody know what the Jetsons did to their Earth and why they live in the fucking
No.
sky? Nobody knows. You never went down.
Actually,
Well, there's a
according to
theory that
the
the
Flintstones Meet the Jetsons movie, one of the Flintstones characters falls out of a window and eventually does hit the ground below, and he comes back up saying something like, "Wow, that's a really long way down." So there is ground down there.
Just the woodly.
But it's destroyed and it's a wasteland.
And he lived.
Or maybe the Flints. It's actually it's time happening at the same time. The Flintstones live in a dark, desolate, Stone Age like world, while the Jetsons live the
Like
cream
Warlock.
of the crop.
I'm pretty
They'd
sure in that
eventually run
movie
into
the
poles.
Flintstones went to the future. Pretty sure that's how that worked.
No, that's not how it works anymore. I'm creating my own timeline.
I want a robot.
I also want a robot.
You want a robot named Rosie?
Yeah, well, I'd prefer a guy, I guess, but
Named Roger?
Roger.
name.
Now,
Bender?
does
A robot
is
named
this
Bender?
like, do you want like a traditional robot or an android or cyborg?
She wants
or
a
what
sex robot.
You can't own a
Yes,
cyborg.
a sexy robot. Not necessarily a sex robot, but a sexy one.
Gigolo
A
bot.
sex robot named Roger that is a comfortable 98
Maybe
degrees
One that looks
and-
like Isaac Clarke, who can do
and feels like
engineering.
real human
Isaac
skin.
Clarke is a handsome man.
Yeah.
I would
He
want.
is. His butt is beautiful.
I would want like a Gen 2 iBot. You know, like they're obviously robots, but they don't have that creepy Valley canny face or whatever it's called. And
Uncanny
Uncanny
Valley?
Valley, that's what it
The
was.
silicone?
Uncanny Valley face, you know. Like they're obviously robots, they have like LEDs in their head, and you know, it's like, okay, you guys
Which
the
which
Gen,
robots
like,
are you
Gen
talking
like
about?
1 or 2 of iRobot, that movie.
Because in the movie it's Generation 4
Okay,
and
so
Generation 5.
4. Generation 4 robots.
I get you, yeah. The ones that don't have, like, the face.
Gross
See,
ass
I like
face.
those ones more because they come in
Yeah.
colors. And
Those
the
would be
Gen
cool.
5 are just come in one. They're like the Apple.
Now,
model.
can you
They're
have
just
sex
the
with
white-
these robots?
No, but they can do all the
If
shit.
you
Yeah, you
try.
can try, but I think they stop you.
You can damn near have sex with anything.
'Cause,
well,
like,
just how about instead we just get a little Gortys.
in the
That'd be
artificial
cool.
intelligence movie universe, like, sex robots were everywhere. Like, seriously, there should be sex robots.
At least sexy
I mean,
robots.
that's looking at our society. Like the moment that robotics becomes a
Japan
little more
already made sex robots.
Yeah,
You
Japan
could
I know.
buy one
The
right now.
moment that it becomes more practical, it's going to happen everywhere, not just in places that are really good with robotics already.
He makes a point.
I
And
just want,
dancing
like,
robots.
a creepy Hatsune Miku hologram. Like the Krieger's wife from...
I was just about to say that, like... yes.
Like in what?
From
Archer.
Archer,
no.
Krieger's
We need to
wife,
show
or
Chaos
girlfriend, or... What, I don't understand if they're actually married, or just girlfriend, boyfriend, or boyfriend hologram, what the fuck that
Yeah.
is.
Well, he said society wouldn't accept them,
Yeah.
so...
Okay,
guess
so I
they're
guess they're
legally married.
not legally married, but they're a couple.
Yeah. She just always
But then
wearing
also
her
she's
wedding gown.
But then she's also the daughter of another hologram AI. He's talked about that as like, your mother would be furious or something
probably
like that.
Probably the previous generation of the hologram, to be honest.
Creepy.
I mean, you could also
This is the
consider
Gen
like
1
what if this was
hologram?
built by a single person? Like the mother could just be the creator, like the builder, the original builder.
Or the. I know this is kind of unrelated, but I heard this a while ago and thought it was interesting. Speaking of mothers and robots and shit like that, that there's this theory that GLaDOS from the Portal series, we know that she was based off of a real person in the game universe, and that person was probably the mother of Chell.
Really?
That's why they had the whole like bring your child to work day, and it was Chell's science experiment with the potato and everything.
I like that theory as well.
I don't think it's a theory. I think it's kind of the actual entire plot that they present.
Well, they don't come right out and
say
it.
Why does everything have to be connected to everything in some way? Like why? Like with this, say with the Star Wars movie, why does Rey have to be connected to any of the fucking Skywalkers or Kenobis or something like that? Why can't she just why can't there just be a new lineage or something?
Because
why does everything
Jaina,
have to be connected?
Well, no, it makes sense in that universe. It depends on the context. In that universe, there was a literal culling of every single Jedi. And even beyond that, they were still continuing to kill all the Jedi bloodlines. So
I feel like
it just so happened that one of the strongest bloodlines persisted.
Well, I just think there's something more original that could come out of that. And
wait, how is she related to them? I don't get it.
It's theorized. It's there's nothing proven yet.
She's Jaina, and the other one's Jason, and then that's from the books.
I was going to say, because all the books are no longer canon, according to Disney.
Yeah, but they're obviously using bits and pieces from it, so it's not like he never looked at those books. He's saying that they're different, but he definitely took a drastic look at all those uncanon novels now.
So it makes sense, because of all the different, contradictions within the expanded universe. It's better to say, okay, guys, we just need to back down. There needs to be one line that is, yes, this is absolutely the line.
I have a theory. Because the Star Wars Rebels cartoons are canon, what if Rey is the daughter of Sabine? Has anyone else besides Zach seen the show? Or is I just...
I have not seen the show. I was lucky enough to... You're lucky I even saw the new Star Wars movie. Because I'm not a fan.
Why?
I'm not a fan.
I dressed up as Princess Leia for that movie. It was grand time.
Were you the only person dressed up when you went?
There was someone who was riding... Oh god, what the hell's the little thing from The Empire Strikes Back what Luke is on that cuts it open?
Tauntaun.
Yeah, Tauntaun. Yeah. Someone was riding a Tauntaun, that was his outfit. It was hilarious.
That's funny.
But other than that, it was just me.
How could you not be a fan of Star Wars?
He just didn't like it.
I mean, I guess I like the expanded universe way more than the movies.
Yeah, the movies themselves, I think I like the movies because of what they started. They were the stepping stone of all these other epic things that have come from the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I can see that. Alright, actually, Star Wars movies are trash. They're garbage.
Yep.
Nah, they're not bad, but if you're not a fan of them, you can see, because it's just another...
They're just so chocked full of cliche.
Well,
everything is so cliche.
But back in the day, it wasn't cliche.
Even then, though. Even then it was. It was just, done with a sci-fi fantasy space opera thing, and that's what made it fresh.
I mean, think about Avatar, which is still the most grossing movie. That's the most cliche thing ever.
Oh god, that's Pocahontas.
There are still people that found value, even if they're cliche, even if they're unoriginal. There's just still there's a huge value to it, and that still creates something. So that's something
that the
awesome
original trilogy did have that I didn't find in the new movie, was that the characters were they still weren't good in my opinion, but at least they were more relatable and they actually felt a little bit more like people. Whereas in
I thought this new cast were a lot more intelligently created than the other ones. I
Okay,
thought
they were more intelligently created than the prequels, but there was nothing.
Even the original
in the movie that made
trilogy,
me be like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to root for you." I'm like, "Okay, who are you? Okay, you're kind of an interesting character."
It also took 30 years to really decipher those characters. For someone to really create like a heroic thing about Han Solo, how
I don't think you're supposed to be following. I think this movie. Like, you can't take it as this movie they're presenting, like, for you to have already be rooting for this guy or that. I think this was hey, look over here. This is a universe. This is everyone in it. This is what's happened so far. Okay, now this is part 1 of 3. But, like, the next one is going to be actually building upon everything they've already established. And then that's when you'd be attached to it. That's when the real meat of the movie series will be starting in episode 2.
See, I had hoped that's what was going to happen with the new Star Trek movies, like with J.J. Abrams on the wheel. I'm like, okay, the first one was pretty good. The second one I thought was absolutely god-awful, and there hasn't been a third one. Like, now he's doing Star Wars.
Well, J.J.'s not directing the next one.
Yeah, it's going to be a different director to begin with for the next two.
Maybe that can save it. I don't know.
Yeah, I
don't
think
it needs saving. I think it's doing okay.
Yeah,
I like the second one just as much as the first one.
There's not as many people stabbing it as they did the prequels.
No. I will definitely say it was better than the prequels, but I still won't say it was a.
I think it's on.
Movie. It was a better movie, but not.
I think it's a good movie, and I think you're full of shit.
I agree. I think it's a good movie. I think
Doug
you're blinded
also
by your
ate
hatred.
Die Hard and puppies, and so
I'm getting a puppy. I like puppies, but yeah, Die Hard was also bad.
Oh wow!
It was the best It's the best Christmas movie ever made. But
No,
It's not a Christmas movie. It's not a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie.
We've been through this.
It's the only.
It has nothing to do with
It's
Christmas.
the only Christmas movie.
It takes place on Christmas.
Exactly,
That's it.
which makes it a Christmas movie.
It has nothing to do with Christmas.
Gremlins.
That movie could have happened on Halloween.
No, well then it would have been a Halloween
Trick or treat,
movie.
motherfucker.
I didn't
Just because it's interchangeable doesn't mean it's like you have to then better define the criteria of what makes a movie Christmas or not.
Takes place during Christmas.
It
Bam,
has to be about
Christmas. Movie.
About
I feel I will agree. I disagree that Tejan doesn't think it's a Christmas movie, but I do also agree that Tejan makes a valid point that if it's a core Christmas movie, it has to be about Christmas.
A Santa hat has to be involved at some point in time.
Yeah, Christmas something has to be involved. It's about Christmas and people enjoying Christmas or not liking Christmas, or just the plot is about Christmas, not taking place, because many movies take place over holidays, and it's just but nothing about Christmas helps resolve the movie.
In that case, then
that's not what a Christmas movie is.
Christmas with the Cranks is probably the best Christmas movie then, because it really highlights the true spirit of the season.
You sit on a throne of lies.
You are
I
so
think,
wrong.
Surviving Christmas with what's his fucking name? Ben Affleck was a pretty good one.
Affleck.
No, because really, if you think about it, Christmas is all about social manipulation and feeling like you genuinely need to do something and trying to find that special thing inside yourself while also being pressured by society and everybody else around you. It's perfect. The Christmas
or tradition.
Christmas movie.
Tradition, same thing. Tradition's part of society, and then when you try and go against that, then these people turn on you, and then once you decide, you're like, you know what, I'm tired of you guys bullying me, I'm just going to go back and do what it was I was going to do, and they're like,
someone needs to transplant
aren't
more
you glad
left
you
brain
came
into
back?
you, Dark.
See, that movie sucked because they were going to do just the thing. They were just like, oh, we're just not going to do Christmas, and that was totally fine. But then everybody pressures them into it, and then they decide,
have you ever decided not to do Christmas and had your family being like...
No, because I like Christmas.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you try not doing Christmas one year and see how your family.
In
But I don't wanna
Japan,
skip it. Not yet.
Christmas is Valentine's Day. Just saying.
Really?
And I've celebrated Valentine's Day on Christmas.
The only thing I know about Japanese Christmas is from Hot Boyfriend, so I don't think that's the best.
It's actually Valentine's Day. You
get a cake and then
chill.
That's it. It's very chill.
Yeah, you eat Christmas cake and then you hang out with your friends. And
then is there sex somewhere?
Sounds like a great time.
Somewhere.
Probably. Yeah.
I like this holiday.
You could do that on any holiday. Except for
Well,
You
yeah.
can
do
do
that
that
any
every
day of the
day.
Yeah, but when you have a dedicated day for cake and sex,
have
yes.
cake, hang out with friends, and
Sex
do the
day.
sexies.
Yes, National Sex
Can you
Day.
imagine if that was
Oh,
just a
dear God.
holiday? Like the way to celebrate it was sex. It wasn't just a holiday where you had it. That's the entire point of it.
I mean,
You know what would
Thanksgiving is
ruin this
basically the
holiday,
same
though?
way. It's just for eating.
Yeah.
You know what would ruin
St.
this
Patrick's
holiday,
Day is
though?
for drinking, so you might as well.
Pie.
So all the bottles.
How fucking dare
What?
you say that, TJ?
Because there's no like a freaking holiday that like they do the cake and then hang out with friends and then the sexing. There's no holiday like that with pie.
Bullshit.
Because
I
it's
will
pie.
make a
What do you
holiday.
mean? Pumpkin pie is like one of the
Because you
staples
always
of
go
one of the holidays.
No. So the solution to this problem is to have two holidays: one where you have cake and then have sex, and then like 6 months later, then you have pie and then have sex.
See, now
Let's
you
support this?
see you're overreaching. That's too
No,
much
it's not.
food.
It's six.
No,
No,
it's
it's
six
not.
You
months
kind
in
of just want to
between.
go to sleep
Just
at
get
that
rid
point.
of Thanksgiving.
We're
Then-
talking about 6
Split it
months
out.
in between holidays. There's
I
plenty
mean, then
of
you
time.
need like some.
Okay,
But that's the thing. You already had cake that day because you had cake every day because you want to do the cake and hang out with friends and the sexing. Because like when you put pie in that, it just ruins everything. You're just too tired and lethargic.
Okay, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fuse Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day, and then split it in two.
Are we cutting out the middle part?
We cutting out
Yeah,
turkey?
we can do it.
So December
no,
and January gone.
we're cutting out the duck
Because I'm on board with that because that removes the cold season.
Now we're getting rid of
It's
seasons.
10 degrees outside right now.
I mean,
don't
I
want
feel like
that.
these holidays should be in the cold seasons because that's when people are like closer together. That just kind of makes more sense than when it's like hot and you're like,
They're already
we could have
huddling for
sex.
warmth.
Or we could like go
Snow,
like, I don't
cozy
know.
by the fire.
Yeah. When it's like 102 degrees outside, you're like, get your hot body away from me. I'm sweating already. Fuck.
And there's fireworks. It's just making everything hotter.
Oh shit. Guys, it's about time that we wrap this puppy up.
Says who?
Says me, because it's like we've gone over an hour and I have to go get up in the morning and be a responsible adult. So, is there anything that anybody wants to pimp? Caro?
JulieMaxwell.com. I do music and photography and cosplay and translation and I'm awesome. Yay!
Go do that.
So go do
Yeah.
Good job.
Do we have anything coming out? We have more podcasts, old
We
podcasts
have
coming out.
more parts of our
139.
Sakura Spirit Let's Play coming out.
Sakura Spirit Let's Play.
That whole thing's been like put together, so we have an entire playthrough that's going to be coming out
Speaking of
through the next
Japanese
few
culture.
weeks. It's great.
Sakura.
Sakura Spirit.
I mean,
Thank you everybody for watching the TFT podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the forum thread and at TFT Plays. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. Listen to us on iTunes. We sound even better on iTunes. I know
do.
it's hard to believe. We sound so great now on Twitch. We sound even better on YouTube, and we sound amazing on iTunes. We sound
Sexiness up
perfect.
to 11.
We do not sound good on SoundCloud.
No.
We sound terrible on
No
SoundCloud.
one sounds
do
good
not
on
subscribe to SoundCloud.
Don't
Just
go there.
delete it. Never go there again.
Or
That's awful.
just
it's
don't.
the worst. Or just don't. Facebook, you can like us on Facebook. You can YouTube, TFT Productions and TFT Plays, our regular video channel and our gaming channel. Please subscribe. You can still like us on Twitch. Go to Twitch, to twitch.tv/theforumthread. Like us. Watch our streams. We do
Yeah. I mean,
Stuff.
Hopefully that's how they're watching us now. I
hopefully.
hope.
But if they're not here now and you're listening to it later, that's how you find us.
Yeah. Come on to
What was
Twitch.
And
last
also go to
thing-
watch us live.
www.theforumthread.com and join our forums.
Yeah.
What was the last thing
we're
we put up
everywhere.
on TFT Plays? Was
Sakura
it
Spirit.
that was a Sakura Spirit play.
Soccer
Sakura
Spirit
Spirit.
and
Sakura.
TFT Plays Castle Crashers. The last episode is coming out soon.
Yep.
Go watch that.
That's
You gotta
depressing.
put it up on the Reddit, man. The Reddit is actually pretty
Yeah.
good.
Does
Surprisingly,
it?
yeah.
I'll
Like
have
we
to start
started
using
putting
that.
stuff on the League Reddit and the YouTube Reddit. It's actually like, oh, this actually gets us like 100 views each time. Like,
Let's do it. And on that note, good night, everybody. We will see you again, same time next week. We love you long time.
And Gus.
Gus. Or
Gus.
goodbye. Or just that.